Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Weekly Pint. It's not a show, but if it was a show, it would be live right now. I don't know. It is kind of a show, but it's not. It's not a show. So if we mess things up or things don't work the way they're supposed to, we don't have to feel bad about it. It's a happy hour. It's an excuse for us to all get together, hang out, crack open a drink of some kind. It doesn't matter what you're drinking, but just to hang out and drink something together, and talk about everything that's been happening this week, everything that's coming up. To talk about Cincinnati beer news, Cincinnati drinking news, events, what's happening in our lives, anything. It's an excuse to hang out together. Let's see. Josh is drinking a Truth, and Julia is drinking her last can of ink. I did not get any cans of ink this year. I think I still have some bottles of ink hanging out in the cellar, but I don't think I bought any cans of ink. I've not cracked open my beer yet. I have a choice, and I need you guys to help me decide what it is that we're going to drink. We'll get to that in a second. But we need to cover all of the bases, all of the standard stuff from the show that is not a show. Since it's a happy hour, the idea is for us to all hang out together, to drink together, and conversation is part of that. You can, and this is optional, you can call into the show. The number pops up right here on the screen. It's 567-70-DRINK. It's 567-703-7465. You can call into the show that way and talk with all of us live, just like you're sitting here in the studio. Just not. You're just in my head. Not in my head, in the headphones. Or the easier way, and no matter where you happen to be listening or watching, you can jump on the chat, and that'll pop up here in just a second. There it comes. As people type, it'll pop up there. So no matter where you're listening or watching, you can take part that way, and you can all talk to each other and me on there. And I will get your messages right here on my screen, and we can do it that way. But I need to crack open a beer because that is a huge part of this, is drinking together. I can't have you guys drink it by yourselves, and I need you guys to decide what it is I'm going to crack open tonight. I have two choices. The first one, very local. This is Rheingeist Antelope, their amber lager. Fantastic beer. This was one of the ones that was on tap at Beer, Booze, and Bonks, so you guys know that I like this one. We can go ahead and read it. Or no, we'll let you guys decide first. I'm not going to read it if you don't want me to drink it. We have this one, or maybe a sneak peek at an upcoming video that is going to hopefully be up this week on YouTube. A Guinness classic. I still love this beer. Just classic Guinness. Just the standard. It is nitrogenated for smoothness. 14.9 ounces. What a weird size. And Julia says that Antelope is her vote. Tim says that Guinness is his vote. We need one more to break the tie. Next one that comes in will make the decision for me. But like I said, this is a spoiler from a video that is coming. I love Guinness. It is one of those beers that I don't always keep in my fridge, that every time it's in my fridge, I wish it was in my fridge more. Josh says Rheingeist, since he is drinking one. All right, Rheingeist it is. And we're going to break all the rules and drink it out of a Braxton glass. All right, let's dive into this. I enjoy this beer a lot. No, sorry, Tim. Stay tuned to YouTube and maybe Facebook too. I don't know how that video is gonna post on everything, but stay tuned. I'll definitely be drinking one this week for you. So this is a little bit lighter than I want an amber lager to be. Not that it's wrong, but golden copper color, big kind of foamy head that it goes away pretty quick, but when you first pour it, it's beautiful. And then the aroma of this. Let me dive in. Hang on. Yeah. It's almost nutty. Like there's a real cool nutty kind of malt profile going on, and then this really good, almost kind of spicy, floral but spicy kind of hop note that I definitely smell. If my memory serves correct, that does not translate over into the flavor. It's just all just when you're kind of sticking your nose down in there. Marco says, I'm here. What are you drinking, Marco? All right. Cheers, everybody. Prost. Super good. Carbonated. A nice fizzy kind of bright carbonation. Malty, smooth, bready. Again, that floral kind of hop thing does not come over in the flavor as much as I smell it. But man, what a good beer. Brad is drinking a Zombie Zoo from Fretboard. Marco is having his Truth and To Go food. No surprise there. It wouldn't be a weekly pint without it. I don't know if you guys can hear the thumping around upstairs. It's been a chaotic night in my house. We'll start there. I have my oldest, her birthday is tomorrow, so we've been running around trying to get everything together for, the little goodie bags that she's supposed to take to school or whatever. Trying to prep. We have dance recitals coming up. We have all of the Valentine's Day parties and stuff at school. Girl Scouts this week. Just everything. Everything is in the middle of just a lot of chaos. Julia says, happy birthday to Princess Gnome. I will let her know that you said that. When I picked her up from dance class tonight, we went to dinner. We went to Applebee's. She's never been to Applebee's, which I thought was funny. It's been a long time since I've been to Applebee's. We both had some wings, and she had some chicken tenders. I drank a PBR. It was amazing. It was exactly what I want Applebee's to be. I hit the old Touch Tunes jukebox up every other song maybe with Who Let the Dogs Out. That was fun, watching all of the groans from the people at the bar, which is a whole other thing. The bar scene at Applebee's, I feel like I need to take an evening one of these nights and just hang out at the bar at Applebee's just to understand what's happening there, because it's a fascinating group of people that I want to get to know. But they did not like my song picks, so apologies to Applebee's for everybody that was hanging out tonight that got to hear Who Let the Dogs Out. I keep thinking every once in a while when I'm hanging out at a bar, because it has definitely become an illness for me to mess with the Touch Tunes jukeboxes and to watch the chaos that you can create with that. And then I always feel kind of bad towards the end of the night, and I feel like I should post something on Twitter, Instagram, or something apologizing to everybody that was at the bar. I have not, and I won't. But sometimes I feel like I should. And there was, I think, maybe tonight, there were maybe 2 tables that were laughing towards like the 6th time that the song came on. Everybody else, I think, was just really mad. Brad says you shouldn't feel bad if they provide the option. I have noticed there are definitely a lot of bars that have started to figure out that you can filter out certain songs or certain artists and things like that. And Who Let the Dogs Out is definitely becoming blacklisted at a lot of places. Whatever. We'll find a new song to slide in. But Who Let the Dogs Out is just perfect, especially since there are a couple different versions of it too. Not to give away any secrets, but if you blacklist the actual song and filter it out, there are still versions that exist that you can put on there, and you have to know how to get to them, but they're there. You shouldn't feel bad if they provide the option. I don't. I don't feel bad for the venue. Sometimes I feel bad for the people that are in the venue because they did not sign up for that, and I'm now, thrusting them into my sick game that I play with the people around me. So chaos. Other than that, we had a great dinner, but life is chaos, and that's wouldn't want it any other way. It's the way it's supposed to be, right? Because of some of that chaos, amongst a lot of other stuff, we'll start things off, and we'll talk about Cincy Brewcast, which, if you guys are subscribers to the show, you saw that it didn't appear this week because there was no episode. I'm hoping that there will be a kind of a special episode sometime during the week that posts. I'm not going to give away what that is. It was going to be an episode of Drinking with the Gnome, and I think I'm going to kind of shift it into maybe a regular Cincy Brewcast episode, if I can get it all together sometime during the week. Just to make up for the fact that I didn't have a show this week, which always bothers me if you guys are longtime listeners. I hate a week where I don't have an episode that posts, especially if it's a week where not only is there no Cincy Brewcast, there's also no Drinking with the Gnome. Sometimes if I'm not able to post one and the other one goes up, then I don't feel as bad. But when I have a week where neither one of them post, it cuts like deep inside, deep in my soul. I don't like that at all. So, sorry. We'll try to make it up to everybody. Marco's suggestion is, right said Fred, I'm too sexy. That's a good one, but there are almost too many people that enjoy that song. I would enjoy it. Although I don't know if you play it multiple times, if that starts to change it. But so let's dive into this week's topics, because there's some good stuff that I feel like we need to talk about. Julia says, or do what John Mulaney did and play What's New Pussycat over and over and over. I feel like that one's probably blocked at more places than Who Let the Dogs Out. To kick things off, we need to talk about Bockfest. Bockfest is coming up very soon. It is always the first weekend of March. So this year it falls March 3rd. 3rd, I think, is Friday. 3rd, 4th, and 5th. 5th is Sunday, I believe, without looking at the calendar. I believe those dates are right. If not, somebody can correct me. This year's Bockfest is also sponsored by Sonder, which is a kind of a big shift. This is the first time that there has been a brewery sponsor that is not an OTR brewery, which is, I think, cool. I think exciting. I have this thing. I have this vision in my head of Bockfest becoming something that spreads out within the city much bigger than it does. Not to compare it to Oktoberfest, because I don't think Bockfest and Oktoberfest are anywhere near the same thing, and I don't think they should be, and I don't want them to be. But the way that in Oktoberfest season, so that we'll call it a month, and we all know that it spreads out several months, but we'll call it a month. If you had Bock Month March, and you had Bockfest and OTR one weekend, and you have Bockfest up in one of the northern suburbs one weekend, and you have it out east one weekend, and you have it down in Kentucky one weekend, like you have these different Bockfest kind of celebrations. I think it could turn into something that is really, really unique. Not that it isn't already unique, but that's what I want to see as far as how Bockfest keeps growing. So the idea that Sonder can come in from a northern suburb, sponsor the OTR festival, maybe in coming years use that to kind of start spreading it up north. I think that's exciting, and I'm excited to see kind of how that grows over time. That being said, Bockfest is notoriously always a little chaotic and confusing. Even now, like if you, like I will tell you guys that if you want to learn more about Bockfest, go to the website, go to bockfest.com. But with that being said, there's a lot of stuff that's just missing from the website that just isn't there. If you go to the schedule of events, there's a lot of stuff that's missing. Still, as of today, we are, a couple weeks out from the event. There's no beers listed on there, so you don't even know how many Bock beers are going to be there or what they are or any of that. And I don't even think I'm going to put together a Bock beer rundown this year because I'm just too busy. So there is no place right now that you can go to learn about all of the Bock beers that are being tapped in the city. That drives me crazy. That should exist at Bockfest.com, and it doesn't. But hopefully it will. but Bockfest is always a little chaotic. That's part of what makes it what it is. It notoriously has weather chaos that surrounds it. If you guys need a little rundown of that history, just start looking around for Cincinnati Bockfest, and you'll get kind of a rundown of some of the weather things that have happened. The very first Bockfest in Cincinnati, I think, was like 93 maybe, something like that, if that's right in my head. And there was snow on the ground for the very first Bockfest parade. And then, obviously, there was the year of the massive snowstorm that technically canceled Bockfest, even though people still showed up and marched in a parade. COVID, obviously, the last couple years, something that's a little more recent that we can relate to a little better, canceled Bockfest. Of course, people still showed up and made their own parade, but it's just there's always something that just makes it kind of chaotic, and I think that's part of what I like about it. So I don't want it to get too polished and too Oktoberfest like. I like that there's some confusion always. It's kind of maybe that's something deep rooted inside of my personality because of the chaos of my life that it makes me feel comfortable. But that's what I want. The important things that you do need to know about Bockfest over here. Bockfest this year. The parade is on Friday, always on Friday. It starts at 6 p.m. and technically the parade starts at Arnold's. And you can get to Arnold's early and hang out and drink some beer and then kind of watch the parade start. And that's awesome. My recommendation is to find a spot kind of along the parade route somewhere. Somewhere where you can grab a beer. Grab a beer, sit there, kind of watch the parade. Julia says, don't forget they burn an effigy to try to keep the weather demons away the Friday before the fest, so the 24th. Yes. And we'll talk about it now. They burn an effigy of a snowman to make sure that it does not snow on Bockfest. Last year was great. The weather turned out to be, it was a little chilly, but not bad at all. I don't know what they're predicting this year right now, but I anticipate it's probably going to be okay. Let's see if today, I don't think I can predict that far out, but no, that Wednesday high of 50, we might have a good year, knock on wood. But yeah, the effigy of the snowman keeps the snow away, and it kind of works most of the time, sort of. Parade. I recommend finding a spot along the parade route, a place where you can have a beer, watch the parade, and then at the tail end of the parade, you finish your beer, close your tab, and then just follow the tail end of the parade up to Bockfest Hall, hang out, crush a few Bock beers that night. Take it a little easy on Friday if you're doing Bockfest as a weekend. If you're not doing it as a weekend, if you're just going Friday, go all out and make sure you build up a nice hangover for the next day. But if you're going Saturday, don't overdo it on Friday, because get up early Saturday and go there and be there all day long, because they do the Bockfest experience. And the Bockfest experience, you go and you pay, I don't remember how much it is, like $50 or so, and you get a taster of all of the Bock beers. Everything that's on tap, you get to try them all, and it is an absolute blast to sit there and kind of work your way through them all. In the middle of that, they're doing I don't know what they're calling the brewery games, where all the breweries kind of compete against each other for some kind of trophy or something. And it's fun to watch. And it's just fun to hang out in the big tent at Bockfest Hall, which is back at Findlay Playground again this year. It's a lot of fun, and it's hard to kind of explain the strangeness of the different sides of Bockfest's personality unless you're just there. So go there. I'm going to try to be there all weekend. That's my goal right now. Also, on Saturday, I don't know if I'm going to do one this year or not, depending on my schedule and a bunch of stuff, but they do the tours, which was my kind of first foray into Bockfest. I had heard about these tours that they were doing of the loggering tunnels underground, and I went to that. Little did I know that they were scheduling it at Bockfest weekend, and we went there and we did the tour, and then at the end they just dropped us off at Bockfest, and we were in the middle of this thing that I didn't know existed. And my life has never been the same. So this year is a fun one because they are doing tours of the Cliffside Brewery, which, if you've been listening to Cincy Brewcast this season, this year, that is one of the buildings that the new Cincinnati Beverage Company purchased. That's one of their spots. It is the second building that they will be renovating. The first is the Felsenbrow building next door. Felsenbrow is where they're building the brew house, where they're going to make all of their stuff. That's kind of the functional side. And then the other side will be the Cliffside building, which is right next door. That's going to be the public-facing side. And right now, it hasn't been touched yet. As far as I know, they may have done a couple little things, but before they dive in and really start construction, this is probably the last year you're going to get a chance to see the building before it gets this big makeover and this new kind of new look. So if you want to see it while it's still dirty and old, you can do it this year. So I recommend taking one this year just to get this last kind of peek at that space. Not that it's not going to be amazing once they're done with it, but I enjoy kind of seeing a place kind of in that process, see it in the different stages of its life. So I recommend taking a tour this year. And I think they're doing those Saturday and Sunday, maybe. I don't know. I'd say check out Bockfest.com, but who knows if it's actually on there. So that's some of the big stuff about Bockfest. The other part about Bockfest that we definitely have to talk about, Sausage Queen. This is just a picture taken from Sausage Queen's Facebook page. It was canceled this year. So Bockfest made a big announcement that they were not able to do the annual Sausage Queen competition. So what normally happens in normal years, you have these preliminary kind of events all around town. And in those events, you have a handful of people that compete. Whatever person wins that preliminary event goes to the finals, which are held at Bockfest, to become the Sausage Queen. And then next year, the Sausage Queen gets to lead the Bockfest parade. For lots of different reasons. I think the official Bockfest reasons that they said it was canceled this year was just because of lack of funding and some key personnel that is not taking part this year. Yes. Yeah, we'll talk about what they say because this has changed. The official stance was that it's not happening because of budgets, time constraints, and some personnel people that were not going to be a part of it. So it was canceled, was not happening. Then, in typical, wonderful, amazing Bockfest fashion, a group of previous sausage queens, the sausage court, I think maybe is that we call them, the sausage court. They got together and they said, "Oh hell no, that's not, you can't do Bockfest without a sausage queen." So they got together and they fixed it. They planned a one night only event. So there's not these preliminary events at different venues coming together for one competition. It is one night only at Mecklenburg Gardens. It's going to happen on the 25th. Doors open at 6 p.m. I don't anticipate the competition will start until a little bit later than that, because they're going to do lots of other stuff too that night. But and it is, whoever wins that night is the sausage queen. There's no build up. It's one night, big competition. It is the Sisterhood of the Sausage, not the Sausage Court. Sausage Court's fun, but the Sisterhood of the Sausage. Which, by the way, you don't have to be female to be sausage queen. Males can win too. Males are more than welcome to enter. It is completely inclusive to everyone. If you've never been to a sausage queen competition, you will not soon forget it. I can tell you that. I'm a little upset that I can't make it this year. That Saturday is an event with my kids, so I can't go, and that's breaking my heart to miss Sausage Queen this year. But if you haven't been, go, because it is a blast. Winner takes all, and whoever wins will lead next year's parade. This year's parade will be led by last year's winner, which I don't remember what her name is, which I probably should have looked up before the show, but whatever. It's not a show, so it's okay to not do things that we should do. So that's that. Sausage Queen. Because Bockfest is chaotic. So it's canceled. Now it's not canceled. It is now been moved back in as an official Bockfest event. So that's what you need to know about that. Moving on. Hang on. Let me take a drink of beer before we move on, because it's a lot of talking without a sip of beer. Rheingeist, for as much crap as they get for being how big they are, man, they know how to make some beer, you guys. New brewery opening, kind of. So, not a new brewery. The brewery has been around for a few years now. They, however, had full intention to shut down brewing operations. I didn't talk about it a lot on the blog because they were kind of teeter-tottering with the idea. I think, I'm trying to think of how they word this. When they lost their last brewer, Justin Chaney, we love Justin. You guys see him here on the show a lot of weeks. When they lost their previous head brewer, they kind of had this thing in their head that they were just going to stop making beer, I guess sell off the equipment, and turn the brewery into an event room or something. I don't know. They changed their minds and decided that they wanted to keep making beer. They started kind of looking for a new head brewer, and that proved to be kind of a more difficult task than I think that they knew it was going to be, to find the right person to kind of fall into that spot and do kind of. It's a hard place to exist, where it is a full-on restaurant. I mean, it is a wings and burgers and just restaurant, and they also have 40-something taps of other people's beer. So to exist as a brewery with all those other beers is a very strange thing to play in the middle of, and it's different than like an 8 Ball or a Braxton Labs or one of those places that puts on kind of rare, strange beers, along with the brewery's stuff. You walk in there and there's you're gonna be able to get a Guinness. You're gonna get Zombie Dust. There's Bud Light on tap. It's a normal, good, but a normal tap list, along with a restaurant. And then you're supposed to try to find a way to make beer that kind of still can exist within that. It's a very strange place, great place, but it's a very strange kind of balance. So it's a hard spot to kind of figure out the right type of person to exist in that. They found it though, and they got Kurt, formerly of Swine City, who came over and jumped into things, and he's got all of the well, not all of, I shouldn't say. He's got 4 of the core beers brewed, on tap, ready to go. This week, Wednesday, they're tapping his kind of second new beer. So at the stout is his recipe, his kind of spin on things, which I thought was fantastic. And then this new one is a collaboration with La Soupe, which is a whole other kind of story behind that. When the pandemic hit and the restaurant was forced to shut down, they took all of the food that was going to go bad because it was all just hanging out there. A lot of food just hanging out in the coolers and in the kitchen and whatnot. Donated all to La Soupe, and then also donated the kitchen space. So La Soupe came in. They were kind of cramped in their current spot. This enabled them to come into the kitchen and use that space, which let them kind of spread out a little bit, use all the food that they had that was going to go bad. And it kind of formed this relationship that is finally kind of a little more visible for us with this beer specifically. He did a cream ale with limes and jalapenos. I got a little taste of a pre version of it, so it was not carbed and not completely finished, but it was good. It was actually really good. Not super spicy. It was just nicely balanced. I think it's my favorite one that he's brewed so far. The stout's pretty darn good too, but anyways, this whole week they're hosting kind of a grand reopening ceremony. So they're doing a keep the glass special all week for, I think, $8. You buy a pint and you get to keep the glass. And then some different events each day, including Wednesday, the tapping of this new beer. So I think you should get over there and try what they're doing. It's a very unique place in all of the chaos of everything that's happening in Cincinnati, which there is a ton of stuff that is happening in Cincinnati. I don't know if you guys have been paying close attention to all of that. I today kind of went through and was kind of double checking and making sure I was up to date on some of the stuff on the website that needs constant attention. And one of those things is the new brewery page, which is the next thing I want to talk about. Things that are coming soon. There are a lot of breweries. In fact, I should probably look and let me pull it up here and count real quick how many are on my list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. There are 20 different brewery projects that I currently have on my coming soon list, which I think is probably the most that has been on there maybe since I started that coming soon page. That's exciting. You know, I know that coming out of the pandemic, there was a lot of questions about what beer was going to look like going forward. This year, too, especially, there's been a lot of discussion, a lot of talk about places buying other places or ownership changes And there's been a lot of people that think that all we're going to see is just places selling to somebody else or places buying a new spot or buying a old spot. And I think we're going to see a lot of that. And some of that is definitely the coming soon stuff that's on the list, but or new tap rooms from places that already exist. But there's a good amount of them that are just new places that we're going to see. So I don't think it's slowing down at all. I think I'm not going to say that places aren't going to close, because they are. I'm not going to say that places aren't going to sell, because they are. But if you look at that, if you chart it all out in some kind of spreadsheet or something, like that number is just going to keep going up. I mean, let's roll through them all here. Let's look at what we've got on my list. So off the top, this is alphabetical order. 16 lots, Southern Outpost, so it's the second location, obviously, in Newport. We have the 1842 Brewery down in Independence. Technically, that's a second location for the Barleycorns, which opened. Are they the last one that opened? Excuse me. I'll look at my list. I don't know. I think so. But they are two very distinct, different projects, although they are same ownership. That one's really kind of unique in the way that they exist, because, like I said, they are same people, but they are two different types of places and two different brands and two different things. Amp House Brewing, over here in my neck of the woods, over in Hamilton, they've been trying to get things up and running for a while. Their Kickstarter, I think, just wrapped up probably this weekend, and I don't think they hit their goal. I don't know what that means for them and for funding. It's their second time trying to run a Kickstarter. I don't know. So I don't know if they are short on funding, or if that's just more to help build some kind of attention. I don't know. I'm not gonna make any assumptions yet until I sit down and talk to them. But they're working hard to open up over there. BC's, we've definitely talked about that plenty. New project, brewery over kind of, I consider it in between Lebanon and Mason. I think it's technically Mason. I consider it this weird kind of in-between period or spot there. But they, as far as I know, they're still trucking along nice over there. I haven't talked to anybody for it's probably been a couple months since I've sat down and talked to anybody. But last I talked to them, things seemed like they were going pretty good. Braxton, we have two different Braxton tap rooms. We have the tap room in the airport, and then also this big Union tap room project with Dewey's and Graders. Those are coming along. Obviously, Braxton already exists, so this is new tap rooms from an already existing place. DVD Brew over in Loveland. They're taking over an old car wash and turning it into a little brew pub kind of thing. Still early on in that project, but they have a space. Confident that if they keep going kind of at the pace that they are, they'll be fine, and they'll open up. There's a lot of space over there in Loveland for more breweries still. Julia says, I wonder if Garage Beer will have its own tap room. I'm going to say no, probably not. I think it's going to exist in brand form only, unless you consider Braxton a Garage Beer tap room. The Fabled Brewworks, that news kind of exploded a little bit in the last week or so, which is funny because they're well into construction down in Erlanger. They are homebrewers, beer fans. From what I understand, no kind of professional brewing experience, and they have this really crazy kind of fantasy theme that they're going to go with their tap room, kind of like Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth kind of thing, which it's I think it's fun. I think that it if it's done right, it could be really cool. So I'm curious to see how that turns out. Excited to see it come together. But they are well underway with construction and new project. So we'll see how that turns out, and we'll definitely be watching it. Fretboard, Taproom 3 from Fretboard. Obviously, they have their original taproom / production facility over in Blue Ash, Hamilton, the Brew Pub, and then this new taproom over at Factory 52, which is the same place that another place we'll talk about in a minute is going to be. I'm excited to see it come together. I've been watching. There's the development itself has been posting pictures of the gather-all space, which is, from what I understand, is where kind of the Fretboard taproom is going to exist, kind of a food hall kind of place, and Fretboard is going to kind of anchor that on one side. Super excited to see that come together, and see kind of how Fretboard kind of comes into a tap room from the ground up and puts their personality that has been built over time into another new space versus Hamilton, which they were coming into Quarter Barrel and just kind of we'll call it sprinkling Fretboard on top of what was already there. Love Hamilton, but it does not scream Fretboard to me. Even if the food and the beer is great. I'm excited to see this one. I'm excited to see how it comes together and what it does for the Fretboard brand as it keeps growing. The Glendale House. Glendale. This is a really tiny project, kind of a pizza place / nano brewery. They've been pretty quiet for the last few months, but they are under construction. I believe... I think I might have talked to him. I think I might have sent him a message trying to get him on the show. And they probably shot me down. Most places do. But at some point we'll get him on the show and we'll talk about kind of what they're doing. But the kind of place that I want to see a lot more of, these really tiny kind of just neighborhood places, food, beer, culture, just kind of squeezed into one little spot. I love it. Goodwood. This is weird. I think they're planning multiple tap rooms in Cincinnati. Goodwood, out of Louisville. I believe multiple tap rooms. If I'm right, well, we'll see. They're kind of quiet on some of the plans still so far, but we'll see. They're definitely planning on something. Let's put it that way. High Grain. Marco says, Fretboard, also an official craft beer sponsor for FC Cincinnati. I think that news drops tomorrow. Did they post it already? Because I have a post ready tomorrow talking about that. High Grain. This is probably the worst kept expansion news in Cincinnati's recent history. They're putting together a big production facility over in Finneytown, the old Brentwood bowling alley, if you guys are familiar with that area. And they, if my understanding is correct, they're going to do production facility. So I think they're shifting main production over to this new spot with a new kind of food program over there, some kind of new spin on things. I don't know if that means that they are going to move production, if that's going to leave their current spot in Silverton. I don't know. Marco says yes. I don't know. I think I told you that, Marco. I think that was what we were talking about. So if you're getting your news from me, I'm unsure about it. I think the last time I talked to them about this, they told me that they were not moving production. But then from reading some of the other kind of news stuff that they've put out and talked to people, it sounds like they are. So I don't know. If I could get them on the show, it's another one of those ones that we could have them answer it for us. But they are very hard to get on the show. I hope one of them is listening right now because we need to get you guys on the show. And you've not been on since before you opened. That sucks. Whatever. I'll keep my gripes to. Marco says, per the newest Switch Into podcast, they're moving everything production. Yeah, that was the feeling that I got. So great. Highwire. So that's our other Norwood Factory 52 tap room. Highwire from Asheville. I love these guys. I know that anytime a new place is coming in from out of town into Cincinnati, we get a little territorial when we kind of throw our elbows up. I think Highwire makes some fun stuff, and they are good people. I hope they do well here. They're not going to actually make beer here in Norwood. I know that changes things for a lot of people, but if you want to learn more about Highwire, I did an interview with them on Drinking with the Gnome back. I don't know what episode it was. There's only 20-something episodes. Just you can probably find it pretty easy. Just go through and you'll find it. March 1st, Fountain Square. The March 1st Fountain Square Tap Room. They haven't talked about this a whole lot yet. They've been kind of busy with the opening of the distillery in Milford. I think that this is going to be as big of a piece of kind of the March 1st going forward as Milford is. Very different type of tap room from what the Millcroft is. It is going to be a tap room kind of tap room brew, but not a brew pub because I don't know that they're really going to do any production there. In my head, it's probably going to be pretty similar to the Blue Ash March 1st tap room, but there might be some personality differences between the two. I'm excited to see what they do with it. There's a lot of personality behind March 1st that still has room to be expressed, and I hope that they're able to do that there. North High, they are doing these co-working spaces. I believe that there is still one more planned, at least one more planned in the area. They're tap rooms, no production, not even like fun tap rooms. I'm not a fan. If somebody from North High is listening for some weird reason, I still like you guys. Your beer's fine, but the tap rooms, they kind of suck. So I'm not too. There's not a lot to say about that. It's like a 2-sentence thing on the website that I have written about it. Sonder, we've talked about Sonder a lot in recent history on Cincy Brewcast. You guys know I'm excited about the Westchester Tap Room. I'm excited to see them. What happened to my camera? Hang on. My goodness. Let's see if that works. There it is. Sorry, guys. I don't know. We're just gonna... Not batteries. It should be plugged in. Yeah, it's not batteries. I think I had the screen folded back. It might have overheated. That's probably a sign that I should probably start wrapping things up pretty soon. Sonder, I'm excited about them kind of growing into the future for who they are going to kind of become, if that makes any sense. We talked about it on Cincy Brewcast. Listen to the episode. We talked about it a lot. Third Eye Hamilton production facility, and this mystery Third East location. I think that's all that they've said publicly, is that it's probably easterly. But both of those, Sonder, Third Eye, these are current breweries that are kind of growing with new tap rooms. Wandering Monsters, over in Anderson. That is obviously a new brewery from some kind of veterans within the local community. Super pumped to see what they do and how they change tap rooms a little bit in what they think a tap room should be kind of in the future of Cincinnati craft beer. And then the last one on my list is Verge, obviously another new tap room. Super talented people, super nice people. They have been busting their butts trying to get this thing up and running for a long time. Super excited to see them come into the West Side. Those are the things that I have on my list that are confirmed far enough along in the process that I feel comfortable talking about them and saying they are coming. I know that there are other projects that are in the works that people are talking about. When people always talk about things that they're working on, that doesn't mean that they're actually going to happen. That's what we'll say about that. That doesn't mean that they won't, though. I'm fully confident in anybody that feels like they are going to get a new project up and running. But it takes a little bit more than that to get it on the list. But if you look at all of those, it's not all new tap rooms from current breweries or expansions, things like that. There are a good number of just new spots. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll call it 7 of them on there are new spots that don't currently have a tap room. Tim says Verge tap room or brewery. Verge is definitely a brewery. It's going to be a small-ish brewery. There was a Verge episode earlier this season of the Brewcast. So go back and listen to that if you guys haven't. But yeah, they're going to be on the West Side. They have a space. They have still, from what I understand, still not been able to start construction yet, but it'll happen, I think. I feel confident. It should. We'll wrap things up because now I'm concerned that the camera is going to shut off at any second because why wouldn't it? Why not? Just chaos. Always chaos. So thank you guys for hanging out. And Tim says Grippadel. Yeah, you'll be very happy with where this one is then. Stay tuned. I believe, hopefully, depending on how, especially how tonight goes, I should be able to get a video up this week about this stuff. Not even about this stuff, but this is part of it. You'll see. Then I have a short video, too, from one of my favorite bars that should be popping up maybe Wednesday. We're going to say Wednesday. I don't know. I probably shouldn't say a day. Hopefully this week. Either way, new content is on its way. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for being a part of this show. Without you, this probably wouldn't exist. So, thank you. We'll see you next week. It's not a show, so I'm not going to apologize for cameras shutting off. We'll see you guys later. Cheers, everybody. Spoiler alert, I have lots of content that involves non-alcoholic beer coming. Don't ask me why, because I don't even understand myself. I'm obsessed, though, for some weird reason. Stay tuned. Cheers.